of give you a little bit of a break on it, but if you can and you have the time, I tend to put enough feedback for your presentation that you can at least have another chance to submit a second one with a couple of changes, right? And you can only get a better mark if you proceed with following some of the direction, right? I will record the session, so if you need to go back and look at my feedback, so you don't have to worry about note taking, I'll do that. And yeah, that's about it, really. Anyways, okay, so let's get to it. It's been 6 minutes now. Let's see who might be ready to roll. So I don't see team 1 ready at the moment. Team 2, yeah, team 2 is here. So team 2, are you guys ready to present your stuff? And if you are, what I'll do is I'll make you presenter, and then I'll give you instructions on how to find the share button from the purple tab at the bottom. And you can get started by taking us through some of your slides and explaining what cause you worked on and why it's so important. And let's see, is it ah or thu or on thu? You can turn your mic on if yeah.
Yes. My name is Anhu.
Anhu?
Yes.
Sorry about that. The more and more exposure I get to all these foreign students, the better I get with the names.
Can we?
So are you ready?
Or I need to reconnect my internet.
Oh, okay.
Now.
And your team member, Tien, is she here? Yeah, there. So you're going to rejoin us?
Yes.
You want to okay. Who has the presentation?
Me.
You do. Okay, so we'll have to wait for you.
Yes. Can I do it in the next turn, please?
Yeah. Okay. So we'll move on to the next team that will be ready. Let's see. Team 3. Jenny, Luch, and Viblav. Viblav, do you have the presentation?
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Hi. So I'm just waiting for my team member to come online, so that we can present.
Okay.
We can present it together. Just give us a few minutes.
Okay. Okay. That sounds good. And Viblav's your other team member, right?
Yeah, Viplav, Natalie, and me.
Okay.
Shrija. Yep.
Sure. So we'll give it a few more minutes and wait for her. How about if anyone's ready to go, we can get started with them. Anybody? Karan, are you guys ready? No? How about Kashev? Are you guys ready? Team 4 with Ali. And of course, Ali's not here. So that's a no. Hi. Oh, awesome. Great. That's exciting. Okay, so before you start, I'm going to make you presenter, and you'll see that you become presenter. You'll be at the top of the list with me because I'm the moderator. So presenter just basically gives you access to the tools at the bottom. So just hold on a sec while I do that. Okay, so you're now a presenter. So if you go down to the bottom purple tab in the right-hand corner, I think that should be in the same place for everyone, Blackboard. And you hover over that or click on it. It'll open up and you'll see 4 icons. Yeah, you click on that, and then you have the choice of sharing file or sharing your desktop. And I'll let you know when I see something on my screen. I'll start recording now. Not yet. It might take a couple of heartbeats. There we go. And animal cruelty. I see your first slide. So I see you only have one name on there. So you did this on your own. Okay. Well, congratulations for getting it all done by yourself. That's great. So All right, it's a lot of work. A lot of work for you. So this is where if we were in the class. Sorry, your mic is breaking up. Um, so we were in the class. We'd all hand clap and send hand clap emojis if you can. Good job. Before you close your file, and that goes for everybody that's presenting, is when I provide feedback, I usually end up on what it is you decided was your best idea. Can you go back to your sketches? So I just saw a PETA television commercial while watching WTA and ATP tennis finals, and it seemed like a pretty good production, and they had an important point to make about animals, but I couldn't remember if I tried to figure out what that commercial was about. Maybe I'll see it again, but I think it needed to be a lot simpler to understand. Like, one, if you don't know what PETA is, then you sort of kind of have to try and sell the company as well as bring up an issue. So you kind of have two things that you need to do. So if PETA is the protection or the ones who are doing the most around the world to protect to protect animal rights, you probably need to add some kind of piece of copy. Like, I think they have a tagline, don't they? Is there a tagline they use? So what is this? What is this visual here with the knife? Yeah, is that is that the silhouette or the negative space of an elephant's head? So okay, and was the knife handle going to be like an ivory knife handle or something? And you've got like the carving of a elephant head kind of coming out of the handle? Yeah, that's a cool idea, because you could have focused your campaign on elephant trafficking or elephant cruelty or elephant. I believe the problem is still poaching, like there's still elephant poaching going on, and there's a lot of it. So it's either picking on low numbered elephant species. So if there's like only 100,000 elephants that grow ivory left, or if it's lower, I think it's probably lower than that. It's probably around 60,000. Attacking one aspect of a subject matter is probably a better place to go rather than doing an experiment with every different animal. Now, I know rabbits for sure are probably the number one worst used animal for the makeup industry. And maybe not in North America, because our laws have changed recently. So in Canada, you're not allowed to use, the government of Canada passed a bill that no cosmetic company is allowed to use animals for testing anymore. So all of North America is animal testing free from the law. So basically, if you do it, you get caught, you get fined, or you get a jail sentence or whatever it might be. Doesn't mean it doesn't stop it from happening, and there's probably illegal testing labs and whatnot, but at least it's illegal and rather than being supported by the government. Now, where it's not being supported, and perhaps this is a little bit of awareness for the rest of the group, is you mentioned you should know what your shampoo is made out of. You should kind of feel a little bit of responsibility into what kind of products it is that you buy. But a lot of cosmetics companies that have to sell to make money, in China, for example, the government there says it's the law you have to test your products on animals before they're allowed to be sold to the public. So, say MAC Cosmetics, a lot of young people seem to like MAC Cosmetics. They may not do the testing here in North America, but in China they have to. So, unless a cosmetics company stands up to the Chinese government and says, well, I'm sorry, we're not offering our products here anymore because you're doing animal testing, we can do all the same testing without animals. We don't need to use animals, and explain the process and how it's safe and effective, and that we don't need to do it anymore. Until they actually do that kind of thing and put pressure on, then there's going to not really be a change, right? So an organization like PETA probably helps, spread the word about stuff like that, so that there's more awareness out there. Anyway, let's go to the poster you actually picked. Which one was your strongest poster that you think you did? This is, the dog one. Okay. So what's missing for me here is if you were to walk by this poster on the street, what do you think is missing from it? If the poster was given to an organization to run their ad, what do you think might be missing from here for brand? Okay, well, more importantly, the PETA logo, right? Like if so if I was walking by this and I felt compassion for the dog and I went, oh, that's a sad thing. But you're providing hope for it. I know that you're talking about animal cruelty, but I don't necessarily know what it's about. But I suppose if you add a PETA logo down in the corner at the top right corner, and then a call to action, I know the call to actions end animal cruelty, but it's probably good to like provide a website or a hashtag to take me to a place like on social media where I can read more about animal cruelty around dogs, right? So yeah, and you can have fun with coming up with a hashtag that you think you can populate on a social media channel that might be, more positive. Like maybe it's for the love of dogs, a hashtag for the love of dogs. And then maybe more people would visit because they go, oh, I love dogs. And then when they go to for the love of dogs, you see the population of, what kind of cruelty is going on out there in the world of dogs. Because if you don't really tell anybody what it is, you kind of need to at least make a doorway to it, right? So there needs to be a path to go there somewhere so I can get a lot more information. So for me, that's what's missing here. But I really like from the sketches, I really like the idea. I don't know it seems like you're fairly skilled digitally to like put stuff together. I'd be curious to see what you do with the ivory knife thing. I mean, I know it doesn't show cruelty, but maybe there is a way to make it graphic enough that you understand the negative aspect of poaching elephants for ivory still. I mean, really, I don't know why we're doing this. Like trophy status, collectability, is is it as sought after as an NFT that Justin Bieber wants? I don't know. So why are we still going after ivory? So there's a lot of storytelling to do, but I understand why you picked this one. But I think if you make some of those changes and resubmit, I can for sure apply a better mark. But so nice slides, good presentation. I suppose if I had to weight something in your presentation is maybe a few facts of what kind of abuse. I mean, that's you sort of highlighted a few things, but I'm sure there's some bigger statistics on how many, like what kind of numbers are we talking about, and then what are some of the positive things that Peter is doing, right? Like more about what they're doing with their money. So if you're asking me for money, I kind of want to know that my money's being put to good use. So what kind of good things is PETA doing out there, right? Like are they responsible for the move on establishing the bill that the Canadian government and the Americans have followed? Are they behind that? Like I would love to know that, because then I would feel more compelled to giving them more money so that they can make changes in law around the world to help all animals everywhere. So that's my feedback. But good job. Thank you very much for that. Clap, clap, clap. And you did it by yourself. Okay, cool. I know that's a lot of work for anybody to do for a week, and reading week in between, but congratulations on that. So I'm looking here in Gradebook to see if you've already submitted once. Yeah, so it looks like you submitted once. So there's room to submit another submission. So I'll be able to mark this one. And then if I see something that comes in later, I'll be able to bump your mark if you've made some of the changes that I've suggested. So I believe I'm trying to remember if I put an extension already on this. I can't hear over my computer, so just okay. I just see a text message there. I want to make sure I'm not missing something. Okay. All right. So back to the submission thing. So I think I'm going to just check the submission time on this assignment. So I've got due date. Right. I'm going to change the due date on this assignment. Hold on. And I'm going to take Keshav off presentation mode. Presenter. Natalie, did
I got it set up. Can you hear me?
Okay. So you have your presentation, your file. I can make you presenter now?
Yeah, you can. I was just having troubles converting it to a PDF, so I'm just gonna submit it as a PDF. But I'm ready to present.
But you should be able to go through your slides. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, you are presenter now. Do you know your way around the panel, or do I need to take you there? So you go down to that purple tab in the bottom right-hand corner and hover over that, or open it or click on it, and the middle icon is share content.
Okay.
And when you click on that, you should have share file or share desktop. You can pick one that works for you.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Okay, so I'm going to change the due date to tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow's Saturday. That would be so unfair. How about Sunday night? Let's do Sunday night at 11 p.m. if anyone has to resubmit. PM. Save. Date change. There we go. Okay, so everybody has the ability to send in a second attempt or a second submission, and that's if you have to. You may be perfect and there's nothing to do, which is not unlikely, but it's rare that there's nothing to do and I have nothing to say, but sometimes it does happen, and one submission is fine. And of course, if you're in a team, you only have to submit, one person only has to submit, not both individuals, because you'll get the same mark. So as long as you leave a credit on the first slide saying that this is my other teammate and you're there, then I know to make sure that you both get the same mark. Okay, so Natalie, if you're going to that share content button, I don't see anything yet on my screen.
Yeah, it just says it's converting right now.
Oh, okay.
So converting.
Right. So it depends how big your file is. Sometimes it takes a while to go through the system, and so there'll be a converting time, and then there'll be a lag before Blackboard probably gets to see it as well. So we'll wait for that.
Okay, sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, I just see that wheel spinning, so hopefully it will be done soon.
As long as it's not the beach ball of death.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. It's what I used to call it when I was full-time in the business and we were working on older programs, like Quark Express. That's something that's probably foreign to your ear, but that's what we used to get, was a multicolored ball that would spin. And if that happened on your Mac while you were working on anything, it was basically everyone thought that the world was coming to an end. So you either didn't save your stuff and then the computer crashes or the program crashes, and you would pull your hair out of your head because it was not a great thing. But I'm sure just a turning wheel. Oh, here we go.
Perfect. All right.
World Wildlife Fund. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet now. You go ahead.
Perfect. All right. So just a precursor. We kind of chose this before really looking through the examples well. So it was only until I looked at the examples that I realized the other people had done World Wildlife as well. But we're really passionate about animals in general and trying to conserve wildlife. So this is why we picked the World Wildlife Awareness campaign that we did. And so the opener, we just kind of go through it briefly. What is World Wildlife? For 60 years, World Wildlife has worked to help people in nature thrive. As the world's leading conservation organization, World Wildlife works in nearly 100 countries. At every level, we collaborate with people around the world to develop and deliver innovative solutions that protect communities, wildlife, and the places in which they live. So our values. Our vision is to build a future in which people live in harmony with nature. Across the many cultures and individuals that represent world wildlife, we are unified by one mission, one brand, and one common set of values. Courage. We demonstrate courage through our actions. We work for change where it's needed, and we inspire people and institutions to tackle the greatest threats to nature and the future of our planet, which is our home. Integrity. We live the principles we call on others to meet. We act with integrity, accountability, and transparency, and we rely on facts and science to guide us and to ensure that we learn and evolve. Respect. We honor the voices and knowledge of the people and communities that we serve, and we work to secure their rights to a sustainable future. And lastly, collaboration. We deliver impact at the scale of the challenges we face through the power of collective action and innovation. So our work will be focused around 6 ambitious goals. The first being climate, to hopefully create climate resilient and zero carbon world powered by renewable energy. Second, which is very important, people don't necessarily realize that it's affected, by the state of our environment and wildlife specifically is food. So double our food availability and freeze the footprint. Forests conserve the world's most important forests, which are carbon sinks that provide oxygen, important for everyone's survival. Fresh water, securing water for the people and nature. Safeguarding healthy oceans and marine livelihood. Life in the oceans is reflected on land. So it's very important that both the coral reefs thrive just as forests do. And the wildlife, conserve certain wildlife and wild places to sustain life on Earth. So it's time. It's time to spread word around the world about the work that we have done and the initiative that they've taken for the betterment of our planet, and to raise awareness about world wildlife across the globe. So we move on to our mind map. I guess it's kind of small. We realized we couldn't really zoom in here. But we separated it into different categories based on environment. So you have our waters, our forests, the plains, and cities. People don't necessarily realize a lot of the time that cities should be incorporated into this. But to start with that, we need more public funding and like just in general health and safety surrounding protected species and surrounding common species as well, because overpopulation of animals can really affect the environment itself. That's separated into two smaller categories. One regarding the rewilding of animals, and the second being creating more catch and release programs to increase health and wellness of species. So the catch and release programs would be more centered around making sure they have all their shots and immunizations, even spay and neuter programs. So again, it doesn't lead to overpopulation of one certain species, helping protect the others that are in danger. Moving on to the waters, better monitoring and legislation for commercial fishing. When you go into that a little further, it's about recruiting and educating local fishermen to monitor their own hunting grounds and kind of legalizing them to prevent commercial fishing and helping local individuals hold commercial programs accountable. For our waters, again, reducing the oil rigs, commercial construction, and overall underwater noise. If we create more strict regulations for quieter propellers and inflated engines on barges and ships, that would really affect that. Publicly addressing how climate change is directly affecting aquatic environments, so creating more accessibility to biodegradable products, creating more awareness surrounding like pollution in our oceans, and even how like carbon monoxide and just our general air pollution is affecting the melting of our ice caps, therefore just affecting our entire like world water state. Increased protection of migration paths, breeding grounds, and feeding habitats of endangered protected species around the world. So for that one, even like attaching more tracking devices onto animals in safe and humane ways, as well as adding sensors and habitats to indicate which places are birthplaces and mating places to help ensure the survival of endangered species. For our forests, we have addressing illegal hunting by augmenting consequences for hunting females and the young of endangered protected species. So that would entail like creating harsher laws and outlawing the sale and trade of animal parts or products and recruiting more wildlife scouts. The second being increasing protection and government monitoring of deforestation in habitats globally. So applying higher tax and banning the import of products like palm sugar, and creating programs to help communities learn how to adopt responsible forestry practices. Another idea we had was directing public attention towards sustainable production of commodities and how that can improve and maintain forests around the world. So, for instance, like making recycled and sustainably sourced wood products more easily accessible to people living under the poverty line. Sorry. And helping Native communities by amplifying their voices to advocate for themselves in their home environment. And then moving on to the plains. So that would be like preserving habitats across the globe and maintaining strong relationships with international governments. You would see this by things like increasing funding to convert public spaces to protected wildlife preserves, and strengthening the government's relationships with Native people to conserve their homeland. Increasing funding for monitoring known poaching grounds and hunting grounds. So creating poaching detection technologies more accessible to communities, and educating and providing better funds to those Native communities so that they could protect their own lands instead of introducing people who wouldn't really understand their practices. Addressing the negative impacts of capturing and farming wild endangered species for private profit, so like zoos, for instance. And that goes into just like creating harsher legislation for zoos and exotic animal collectors, higher taxes, better support for nonprofit animal rehabilitation centers, and yeah, so on and so forth. So that kind of goes over our mind map. Move into our sketches. So we had a couple different ones. I think we did all do our sketches individually, but I was really intrigued to see how similar they were. Like we were all kind of thinking along the same path. So like one of my sketches, the second one was just like a polar bear standing on an ice cube. And you can just see even like the one under it, like the overpopulation of like raccoons in cityscapes. Again, really affecting the environment itself. The fourth one was a kind of like ode to the garbage islands that we hear about in the news all the time, traveling around our oceans. Moving on to Shrija sketches. Again, lots of like save the forest. You see another sketch here in relation to just like the health of our oceans and our animals with plastic pollution. We included a couple like catchphrases there. So it's now or never, take action now, save the earth. Moving on to Zipla sketches. So a lot of like, once again, like saving the rhinos. I liked the first one he came up with the pig, where it's just really all it comes down to is private profit. Yeah, so, and one of the things that I really liked is look deeper, extinction is serious. This next clip is just loading. So, World Wildlife Day is March 3rd. By getting people to notice their work, we remind them why we need world wildlife and their initiatives in the midst of our current crisis, in our hopes to prevent upcoming disasters. We want to show the world what it means to save as well as conserve the planet Earth and why it's necessary for future survival. So this is how we can promote World Wildlife 2022. We convey the message to people that not only does World Wildlife conserve the wildlife around the globe, but also focuses on conserving 5 different crisis-prone dimensions affected. And these are climate, food, forest, fresh water, and ocean. All of these play a major role in protecting our planet Earth, and they are interconnected, so it's very necessary to take action now for the betterment and survival of the future generations. So our advertisement is here. Our planet is dying. Let's take action now. We were kind of referencing a couple of our sketches when it came to like the deforestation and how that affects animals. And again, like our 5 elements, so how it affects the food, the climate, even waters. People don't necessarily realize that with deforestation comes flooding and many different water-related issues, as well as, again, air issues because they are a carbon sink. So without forests, everything will be affected in turn. For creative placement, so we just figured billboards on busy highway roads is probably one of the best way. I can't count the number of billboards I see on the way to work, and traffic is a great place for people to just sit around and take things in and look at things. So I think that'd be one of the most effective placements, especially in the city. So are you ready to take action? And that's the end.
Thank you. All right. Emojis from the whole classroom. I know we have a small classroom, but I'm sure they appreciate that. Well, it really sounds like you're very passionate about what World Wildlife does. And there we go. You got some congratulations. Can you go back to your poster? Oh. Yeah, don't close your...
Yeah, here.
Anyways, some really thorough investigation and research. Like, you really did a lot of work on putting together all the parts and pieces. So if I guess I was sitting in on a presentation like this, I probably would be a little bit overwhelmed by how much stuff. Like, maybe it could be better to focus on one particular issue rather than all of the issues, because it is a lot of stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, there's all these things that we have to worry about. But I understand that here's all the issues that World Wildlife deals with. Which one's the most important now? I mean, I guess all of them are of equal importance, but if there's something that's more political that needs to be debated, or is there like a petition I can sign, or is there something more local that we can, activate a population rather than being general about it, like overall? Like, there's one thing that really pissed me off that I saw on CBC, which is one of our Canadian broadcast systems. It's like probably the most seen because it's available in every media, is and it's funded by the government, they did a sort of like a very short documentary on the what was going on in our boreal forests, Canada, and we're selling wood. So whatever those famous wood products are from where the most densely forest areas are, it's usually in British Columbia. If you ever fly over British Columbia, you'll see all the patches in the mountains of all these trees that are missing because of the practice of clear cutting, which is still seems to go on, and even selective forestry. But the wood and what they're using the wood for didn't really make sense to me. I didn't know this, but a journalist, which you guys are being exposed to as well as the journalism module in this introduction to media, is the depth of research that went into trying to bring to light the ongoing use of selling wood pellets to other countries, and namely one that supports us a lot in the past, especially the monarchy, is the UK. So in the United Kingdom, they still are burning wood to fire energy generation in these giant, electric generators. And it looks like basically looks like a nuclear plant It's like 3 giant stacks, and they're burning all the time. And what do they burn? They're burning wood pellets. Okay, so why are we burning wood pellets to create energy? I thought we had nuclear energy that's supposed to be clean, and we're supposed to be using that. We have coal fire, which is not clean, but if you put proper scrubbers on it, you can remove most of the pollution that comes from it. There's all this technology and all of this stuff that we can do, but for some strange reason, we're still selling our Canadian wood to manufacture pellets to ship. And there's another carbon footprint issue right there. It's like shipping wood pellets over to all the way across the ocean over to England to fire up their generators so that they have, I don't know, affordable energy for their homes and their electricity. Like, I was horrified by it. It's like, what is that? What's going on there? So
yeah, right. And actually, to that point too, like, actually, none of the wood we cut down in Canada is used in Canada. We import all of our wood and we outsource all of our wood, which is like really crazy. Like during COVID, that's why the price of wood shot up so far, because we couldn't import the wood we needed to use. But I also have a question.
Yeah.
Is so when you say it's a little bit too general, should we kind of like give people like more of a call to action in terms of like one specific thing? We should be like, okay, this is the problem, this is how we can tackle it, just like give them more direction.
I think if your subject, it's okay to be general, but maybe the subject matter is more about deforestation and what you can do locally about it. So maybe there,
Okay.
sometimes people act because it happens in their backyard rather than this is something that's going on in South America and I don't really care about it. Like, that's like terrible attitude to take, but sometimes that's just natural human reaction to things. Is you can see how emotional I get about my own boreal forests in my own country, and what the Canadian government is approving to happen right under your nose is unacceptable. Like, like, we know how important climate change is. We know how important our resources are, but why are we sourcing out our trees for another country? Like, I understand the money part of it, but we're taking down vital, important forests for this particular reason. Like, that's just not right. So there should be, you know, if there was, you know, other than writing a letter to the government, one would probably want to know, is World Wildlife Fund even aware of it? And if they are, what are they doing about it? And where can I donate more money next time I have to click a button on my kid's birthday party and send some money their way, because I know that they're taking action. They're doing something about it. Like,
Okay.
I guess that's kind of what I'm talking about, but maybe it's just more focused that way. But I have a soft spot for, I have a soft spot for orangutans. So there's nothing wrong with what you did. It's just, I think the issue there is maybe more related to that palm oil and palm sugars that you're talking about, that we just all consumed during Halloween. We probably shoved our faces full of palm oil that's uncertified. That's what's destroying the rainforest itself, is farming of palm trees, and the palm trees that they're producing are not sustainable, but there's sustainable ways to create palm oil. We need palm oil. It's a really good ingredient for a lot of things, especially for baking and foods and processing and all that other stuff that we need palm oil for. But there's a right way to do it, and there's a wrong way to do it. And there's a lot of wrong ways that are going on at the moment, and people aren't aware of it. So if you're going to buy something that has palm oil in it, at least look on a website that the company is selling and see if their palm oil is certified. If it's not certified, you shouldn't buy it. And then you'd be surprised how many things have palm oil in it, like toothpaste and shampoo and whatever else. So there's lots of stuff. Anyways, I appreciate the thoroughness of all of the information that you brought forward. You didn't, and thank you for going beyond just doing a transit shelter, but you really only had to do like a transit shelter poster, which means you should follow, at least have that. So try and reformat your poster to fit a transit shelter so that we're looking more at that. And maybe there's a line of copy that it might help make it more close to home for the World Wildlife thing. Maybe it's a petition thing. Maybe it's a donation thing. I don't know. I mean, most of the time we know when we see a World Wildlife logo, we know that it's about fundraising all the time when it comes to environmental protection, because you can't just expect the governments to do it. It needs to be happening on a more organized level. Okay, but really nice job. Thank you so much for that. And I loved looking at all the sketches, and I'm trying to remember. It was hard to see the sketches. I was trying to see if there was something else, another idea that you had that might have been simpler or more graphic or visual, but yeah, okay, so yeah, okay. No, all nice sketches, by the way. It looks like you guys had fun doing that. What's the elephant one there?
So the elephant, Viplav did that one. It was just kind of an elephant made up of like different elements of these environments.
Oh, I see.
So
okay.
Yeah, that was like the Look Deeper Extinction is Serious one. So
yeah. Now the piggy one, the piggy bank one, I noticed you kind of highlighted at the beginning of showing sketches as the one that you kind of liked. Is obviously it's missing some kind of message, but I don't know, like if this is not the greatest thought, but it's, if the money was like if the money was something else other than money, like you know that money goes into a piggy, like what's the thing that goes in there that's round, and then the message could be something like it's obviously a profit message, or is the yin and yang, or is the profit over environment over profit? Like there needs to be some kind of message that supports it, like a bridge line. But I think there could be a simple visual surprise with using something round that represents a coin, but it's not money. But anyway, I found that graphically standing out again, just like you guys did. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with what you did. Just if you don't have a ton of time, I would just, maybe reformat the poster, maybe get a little tighter in on the orangutan. I think as long as you've got one tree cut and there's a more focus of orangutan, I think there's more compassion when you see an animal in association with a broken forest. It strikes better to the heart rather than being too far away and not being intimate enough with the orangutan. I think if you made that adjustment, I think that would be good. And I think this is a good opportunity, like I said earlier, creating a subline or a bigger call to action, or a fun hashtag or something that will allow me to go someplace to be more active when it comes to world wildlife issues. I know they have a website, but today we seem to spend more time on social media than we do on corporate websites. So it's like, okay, what if you were in charge of doing this campaign for World Wildlife Fund and you had to populate a social media channel, what would it be and what would be there, to like spread the word, because if there's something interesting that is being talked about, then if you can get the word out and it goes all over the place, next thing you know, you've got everybody paying attention to something, rather than only seeing it in one media out there on the street, even though that's still a good media. So you did a good job of selling your media and the why, especially here in Toronto. My gosh, the traffic is getting so bad. You spend a lot of time looking at other things than driving. So billboards are probably not a bad use of space for the World Wildlife Fund. Okay, congrats. Thank you very much for your presentation. That's great.
Cool. Thank
Okay,
you.
let's let's get you off of presentation mode. Participant. And that was a 3. You had 3 people in your team. So all 3 of you. I'm just making a note here. I'll be with the next group in a second. Okay. All right. Who's ready to go next? Do we have anyone else? Okay. So I'll make you presenter. Team 2, yes. Okay, so you're in presentation mode right now.
Yeah.
Natalie, you can turn your mic off. Thank you. Okay, so now that you're in presentation mode, you can go down to the bottom right-hand corner, and there. Oh wow, you know your way around already.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Good. So is it you're doing this as a team?
Yes, this
Oh,
is my
good.
team.
There you go. Okay, I'll be quiet now, and you can take us over cyberbullying.
Yes, I want to talk about the cyberbullying awareness campaign. We want to raise awareness about this topic because we all know that this problem is among every like between every like every day we can see it, especially in school where students are most target. So, first of all, what is cyberbullying? Is it bullying with the use of digital technologies by posting, or sending someone's personal information, which causes embarrassment or humiliation? And where this can happen? Of course, it's happened on the online platform, like in the social media, messages platforms, in the chat rooms, through emails, in the gaming platforms, or to mobile phone, especially in school. As I say, cyberbullying mostly targets young children, like between their fellows. So, what are the negative effects of cyberbullying? It's caused lots of harmful effects on our mental health and physical health, like stress, anxiety, depression, or suicidal intention, ideation, or acting out violently, getting frustrated, or lower our self-esteem. So, I want to introduce you about the organization that we work with. It's about Act Against Bullying. This organization began in 2000. The writer and parents, they set it up concerned about, the bullying in the UK. It's also still the spokesperson of the charity. And this organization became a registered charity in 2003. Their mission is to be able to provide children with practical advice if they are being bullied. So, what we do to stop cyberbullying, to raise awareness of. First one, we want to raise awareness of health implications. The second one, we want to point out the way to prevent and respond to cyberbullying. So, how we can promote this Stop Cyberbullying campaign? First, we want to educate children about the negative effects of cyberbullying, how to prevent cyberbullying when they get it or see it around them, and how to protect their private information. So other people cannot take their private information and share it to online. And second one, we want to inform parents that they should keep attention on their children, monitor their children's online activities, and also try to connect with their child as much as possible, to realize any problems. And this is our teamwork. This is leading sketches with nice sketches over here. And this is my sketches. And then among 18 sketches, we choose out, we pick up this one idea and put on in our, oh, I'm sorry. This is the mind map I used to develop our idea about this topic.
Oh, hello. Sorry. Excuse me. Your slides didn't move forward, so we can't see the mind map or the sketches. Right now it's stuck on.
Where did you get it?
There we go. Thank you.
The sketches?
Yeah, I can see them now.
Okay. Okay, so next one is the mind map. I developed the idea of this topic to the mind map, like collect the idea and what is it, where it happened, and the negative effects of cyberbullying. Also, the solution to promote in our campaign, and the purpose of our campaign. Like we want to specify everything to develop it afterwards. So by collecting small element and choose out the best one, we've developed our advertising over here. This is our advertising, like our poster about stop cyberbullying. We use lots of objects like the like icon, the keyboard, enter key, the mouse, and the computer, like to visualize people about this topic. And we want to put it in the grammatically style, black and red, to inform people, to warn people about this topic and the importance of stop cyberbullying. Also at the bottom, we put the slogan of the organization, act against bullying, and to incorporate the slogan of the organization into here, and then put the icon of their organization and the link next to it to let people easily connect with our organization. So that's all about our campaign. Thank you for your listening.
All right, thank you. Don't can you go back to your poster and clap, clap, clap. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good job, team. Okay, so can you go back to the very beginning of your presentation, talking about AAB?
The organization.
Yeah.
Right here. Yes.
I'm not very familiar, not that familiar with them. So it started in year 2000. ABB became a registered charity in 2003. Okay. I'm curious why you picked these guys over I don't know, say UNICEF, because UNICEF's a much bigger organization and they look after the welfare of young people, young children. And that's where the cyberbullying usually starts. But tell me a little bit more about why you picked them. Is it something local? Where did you find them? Because I have know nothing about them.
Oh, because I think some big organizations like UNICEF, people like know about them already. But I want to target more on the local organization, like because the small organization they will target on the small segment, like section of
Got
the
you.
problem. Then they want to, yeah,
Okay, so this is in the UK then, right? Yeah.
yes,
Okay, so but they're big enough, known enough since 2003 to be like one of the more popular organizations doing something about bullying in the UK. Okay, good. All right, I just want, I don't know why I didn't retain that, so I apologize. But let's go to your poster now.
my poster.
Yeah, it's your poster.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about this for a little bit, because I think I see some ideas in here that might generate a much simpler, cleaner poster. And because you're kind of working on a campaign versus trying to do one poster with everything in it, it might be better for you to think about it that way. And again, it's only if you have time. If you want to like submit a new submission and take a little bit of my feedback, then perhaps it will work out better for you. But you guys still have, you know, a pretty clear idea. So I understand what it's about, and it's not hard for me to understand at all. But because I'm in the business of being very simple is the recipe for success in the advertising industry, or the design community for that matter, is if you can strip things down to be the most simple and then do more than one poster, like two posters, then you can probably communicate the same thing without you know, all the other information. So I visually am gravitated towards you know, either negative emojis. So you could do a poster on just negative emojis that's like, that symbolizes, you know, cyberbullying. I get the mouse and the noose thing. That's graphically very good. That would be shocking to look at and alarming to look at. So if you're looking for shock advertising, then just one simple poster with a mouse and a cord that looks like the shape of a noose shows how powerful a bullying can get online, right? So I think graphically that could look really clean and nice, especially on a black background, right? And then the focus is all about one thing rather than a bunch of things. And the like hand and the thumbs up thing you could, you know, because we all know that the thumbs up icon is a like, means like, the surprise would be probably turning the thumb upside down with the knife in the hand. I think that's like, I know you're supposed to stab down with a knife instead of up, but I think you get the point. It's still a sharp object. It's still a dangerous object. You're making social media seem bullying and social media access dangerous. So be careful about how you use it, right? Because it can have a devastating effect. So I think those things are really easy to focus on. It might make your poster much simpler, rather than having all of your ideas and thinking all in one poster. Okay, so think about splitting it up. Now, is that the actual AAB logo down there? Did you find that online on their website?
On the website.
Oh, really? That's their logo. It sounds if you're a designer, if you're a designer, it sounds like, or it looks like they could use a little help with some logo design. It just it seems really not. It doesn't seem very slick for an organization that's been around that long. But anyway, I thought I asked the question. But that's their official branded logo.
Yes, I saw it on the website.
Okay, so you didn't design that. You didn't like put it together quickly. That's the actual way they represent their logo. Okay. And that's their official URL, actagainstbullying.org.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all I have really for feedback. Whether you act on the feedback is up to you, but still, good job, and thanks for bringing it to our attention. Yes, cyberbullying is something that needs to start early in education, when we're young, before we even get phones in our hands. I think it needs to be talked about. I mean, we talk about bullying in school in general, but knowing ahead of time before you even get a phone is probably the best place to start, is in the school curriculum, is getting that discussed and out of the way, rather than, oh, I got a phone, now I can start talking about my friends and doing things, and not realizing what kind of power you have when you start sending out negative messages about somebody else. It's not cool at all. It's something I'm not looking forward to figuring out for my 9-year-old. So when she eventually becomes old enough to be using a phone, is that whole aspect of it is somewhat terrifying for me. So I hope to have her well educated before she's exposed to all of that stuff. Okay. Good cause. Anyway, thank you for bringing it to our attention. Is there anyone else that's ready to go? Are we at the end?
Thank you so much.
Corinne? Yeah, thank you. Corinne, Babu, are you ready?
Hi, yeah, Blaine. Just can you give me a minute? I'm just downloading the PDF.
Oh, okay. I'm sure we can all wait a minute. No big deal.
Okay, thank you.
And you did this with Sika or on your own?
Ampika, yeah, Ampika, me and Ampika.
Okay. And what's your cause?
We have doing for cancer, means be fearless.
Cancer.
Yeah.
Any particular organization? Because there's lots of them.
Yeah, it's a Canadian Cancer Society.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to make you presenter. So you're a presenter now, so you should have access to the panel at the bottom. Once you've downloaded your PDF. Okay.
No, I didn't still got the. Also, is that shared content option?
Yeah. Okay. So you click on the purple tab at the bottom with the X, and then the center icon is share content. When you click on that, you'll have either share file or share your screen. You can pick either one.
Okay, sure. Yeah, just got it. Can you see the screen?
Yes. Fearless challenge. There you go. Okay, I'll turn my mic off and let you take it away. Thank you.
Hi. So we are mainly for the campaign of Fearless Challenge by Canadian Cancer Society. So me, Kiran, and Ampika, we team 6 are presenting regarding this Fearless Challenge of Canadian Cancer Society. So actually, what is Canadian Society? What are the main values of the Cancer Society? So as we know, today we are giving a we will discuss that what the Fearless Challenge is and some of the values of Canadian Cancer Society. Okay. So here the main content where we come up with is the Canadian Cancer Society and the values, where the main motto is caring and treating all human beings with dignity, having courage and determination of for making a positive change in the world, and also having the ethical integrity, and also for the means how we approach and do the treatment for the uh, people. So what is Fearless Challenge? So we will discuss what the challenge is. The main motive of the campaign is to invite a general public and get them into sign a pledge to do one thing that they are most afraid of doing. This campaign also motivates cancer patients to do the same and get rid of their fears. And this campaign thrives on the publicity it can get in order to attract as many people as possible. And it is a fundraising campaign, and the fund generated by it go to the support research in Canada. So about the Fearless Challenge, this challenge was actually started around August 2014 in order to raise funds for cancer patients and their families. And there have been plenty of celebrities, including Jason Priestley, Jesse Palmer, and Natalie Brown, who have joined this challenge and faced the thing they fear most, whether what is an adventure sport or a organism like a snake or a spider or something like the fear of public speaking. And these are the main official posters that we can see in social media by the Canadian Cancer Society for the Fearless Challenge. I think you guys can check in our website so you can go through the main ideas and the main activities what they are following on. And about the Canadian Cancer Society, these are their main mission, and the Canadian Cancer Society fights more than 200 types of cancer on numerous fronts, and also from prevention activities to advocacy efforts on important issues. They give cancer patients a voice and give them hope. And also the work of this organization is supported by many of large organizations and volunteers and other generous supporters. And the main mission of the Cancer Society is to work or the trust partnership with donors and volunteers. And through this organization, we try to improve the lives of all affected of cancer patients through world-class research, transformative advocacy, and compassionate support. So these are the mind map that we have made. So you can see as a Fearless Challenge, the main objectives is to how to promote and also how to do things, how to make them more fearless, how to give so much hope to the cancer patients, and you can see some of other sorry. Hello, sorry. My screen is stuck. Just give me a second, okay? I'm really sorry.
Oh, no problem. I'm enjoying looking at your mind map.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
So actually, first we started by stating the primary elements of this challenge, like the main motive of this challenge and the organization associated with this challenge. So then we moved on to the secondary branches, which is where the ideas for the posters and sketches started coming into our minds. And in the next slides, we can see some of the examples, the sketch of cancer patient looking at a butterfly and all. So we were planning to make that type of posters. So, but we have already created some of the posters from our side. So can I go to the next page?
Yes, by all means. There we go.
Okay. So these are some of the sketches by Ampika. They include the images of cancer patients and how they are trying to be fearless. They also include some. They also include some of the other sketches that are the image of handcuff and tearing, the fear page. Likewise, this is Ampika's sketches. And these are my sketches, and these inculcate, and it's more shows how to be fearless. So in the first one you can see the hair donation, and second one you can see how to motivate means how to dare to fly, be fearless, and how to inspire people, how to give motivation to other people and cancer patients, and how to display affections between the people, and be a strong and do what you love, break free from other unnecessary comments and all, happy before and happy after, and the empathizing with the world. So these are some of the ideas that we got and we sketched in this. So how can we promote? Actually, we plan to use social media. As we know nowadays, it is one of the main media where we can spread our info and other things. So by promoting this campaign mainly on Twitter and Instagram and also Facebook, we can make the most out of it and reach as many people as possible. So, and we go with the hashtag be fearless, so that we can help us get more people join us and promote our campaign. And we also plan to share our pledge with the public by having a powerful face of our campaign. We are doing it to boost the campaign's reach, to get an influential celebrity, and by them we can reach so much people. So these are our main plans for campaigns, and these are the campaign posters that we designed. In that first we can see about the fear challenge, and in the second poster we are planning for haircut, means give your locks and give them hope. So haircut challenge also.
Sorry, is that was the end of your presentation? Oh, there you go. The thank you slide is always important in a meeting. So that basically it kind of puts a period at the end, and then there's no weird awkward silences. It's like, okay, now I'm done. Thank you. Okay, so let's stay on your posters. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about your sketches, because somebody knows how to draw. That's always good to be able to sketch something quickly and get your ideas down. That's good. I'd like to see that. Some of those thoughts were a lot faster for the be fearless idea. So if the strategy was about continuing to promote being fearless, then I think some of those visuals you had were probably clearer for that particular strategic direction. You know, whether it's ripping a piece of paper or expressing somebody's feelings in art, or the metaphor of being chained by handcuffs, or breaking free, or doing something that's fearless, etc. Now, if you were to focus on the hair thing, I think that's actually a really nice, close association to cancer and dealing with cancer, right? Is the hair loss when you have to deal with chemotherapy. So that, I think, is a closer association, rather than just an all type poster that you did on the left. So my focus would be, if you were going to move forward and maybe do 2 posters instead of 1,
Mm-hmm.
is maybe the one on the right is a campaign more focused on the give your locks to give hope. So I may not know enough about this, but let's just say, so if let's pick, I don't know, maybe it's best to pick a day, is it, or create a day. Is it international give up a piece of your hair day or something like it? What happens when I cut off a piece of my hair? Do I send it in an envelope and it goes to a company that manufactures wigs, so that people who are dealing with chemo actually have like the best choice of wigs, and there's a wig manufacturer that Canadian Cancer Society is in like working together with? I kind of sort of need to know a little bit more about that so that I can understand it. And if you were to use that, I don't necessarily think you need to have a whole bunch of images. It could be maybe as simple as 1 image. Like I'm gravitating towards the girl with the teal background, who's smiling, and she looks, you could clearly see that she's taken off one side of her hair. It's graphic, and you could even be more graphic by removing the background and using the Canadian Cancer Society's color, right? So maybe she's on a yellow background and you use the person, and it's just a really nice, hopeful image, and it shows exactly what it is that you're doing, but it's still not clear what I'm going to, like, what happens. So if I cut my hair, and let's say the hashtag is be fearless, maybe it needs 2 hashtags: be fearless, donate your like donate a lock, don't be fearless, hashtag donate a lock. Like, there needs to be a place where I can get more information about giving hair, right? So it's not obvious. So if you can imagine, you're walking down the street and you have this one single poster, and maybe on the other side of the city you've got another poster, so you're doing a campaign, and the campaign is really probably different people giving up their hair. Maybe it's a celebrity. You talked about celebrities in the campaign they did before. Like, who's to say you can't use a celebrity? Maybe it's Justin Bieber is cutting off a piece of his hair. Like, I think you could have fun with that, but it needs explanation. Like, it needs to have some kind of event. Is it a day? Is it a thing? Is it a company that makes wigs? Maybe there's a line of copy that needs to be put in here, a subhead, to help support the whole thing. And the life is bigger than cancer. I know that's Canadian Cancer Society's position at the moment. Maybe that's something you found online, but I think that clouds the information and the communication. It's like, okay, so Canadian Cancer Society, but it's more about the being fearless thing and being able to give up something for someone else, right? Like, for a special day, a special occasion. Because it's not like you're going to cut your hair every single time, right? You're going to do it once in a while. So how long does it take to grow long hair, right? It takes a long time. So it feels like something that needs to happen once a year or once every 6 months, right? So I think you could just find a much simpler, easier to understand campaign of like giving up locks and being more graphic and clean that up a bit. And I think you have a nice little campaign that helps support being fearless, because it's all about that, right? Don't let anything get in the way of that communication. But really good effort, good information, good research, and a good cause. Canadian Cancer Society is one of my favorite go-to places. They do a lot of great things, like you mentioned, and there's a lot of good research that goes into this. I hope it's something that I never have to deal with. But the statistics are, I think, 1 in 3. Right? So 1 in 3 Canadians, or 1 in every 100 Canadians, deal with some sort of cancer in their lifetime, right? Yeah. Whether it's skin or something else, we all have to, at some point, face it. So when I do have to face it, I really hope that there's the support that I need when facing it, right? So good for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job. All right, applause.
Thank you.
Well done. So I think that comes to the conclusion of our class. Here, let me share my ugly mug. There we go. We don't need to record this anymore, so I'll stop recording. Okay, so thank you, class. Good job. Like I said, if you have some things and some changes and some, if you want to better your presentation or resubmit, you have the time. I've given you till Sunday at 11 p.m. I know that's like, okay, it's Friday and that's goes my weekend. But if you have some really simple, basic things that you can do today and resubmit, that's up to you. You'll only get a better mark if you do it. Corinne, you can turn off your mic, please. And well done. So I know it was a small class, but it was still good to see all of your hard work. I always enjoy it. And if you found the exercise fairly easy, it came easily to you, and you had lots of ideas when you were about to explore and get into your what it is you needed to communicate. If you found it easy, perhaps this introduction might be right for you. Now, based on passions of people, we could always use more environmental lawyers, right? But we're in the business of media. So if you can't be a lawyer, you can still put a lot of effort behind a cause that matters to you within my kind of organization. So if you're working at an advertising agency and you're in a big A-level shop like Gray or Ogilvy or one of the big worldwide agencies, and they have time between working and selling hamburgers and whatnot, you have the power to be able to put the kind of effort that you're putting into things like you're doing now on something that matters to you, because you can always propose working on a cause. Or you may be at an agency like I was at, when I was working at Ogilvy. I was working on World Wildlife Fund, for example. So there's a coincidence. And it's a fantastic organization. And I actually really enjoyed my job at that moment. Now, I didn't spend a lot of time at Ogilvy, but when the time that I was at Ogilvy, and this is a long story because they didn't give me what they promised when I came in there, and I had to leave to go to a place that was giving me what I wanted. But really well spent time there, because I built relationships that turned into freelance relationships later on, and I had fantastic creative directors to work with for that time that I was there. And I got to work on World Wildlife Fund, which I was passionate about. And it's like, oh, this is awesome. I say, okay, instead of selling Dove soap or credit cards for American Express, I can focus on something I really like, which is saving environments, bringing awareness to causes, issues around bird migration is something that I worked on. Oil pollution was another thing I worked on, and did a little campaign for birds, which won me some awards. Now, whether I had a huge impact on fixing the problem regarding the amount of light pollution coming from cities during the migratory period, which is like it's only 2 weeks long. We have all these beautiful little creatures and birds flying through, I guess, from South America across the western side of North America and across the Great Lakes, heading to northern Canada for nesting. When they make this travel, millions of them die, apparently. I don't want to bring anyone down, but environmental impacts, usually humans. But there was things that we could do and just be aware of. And if there's anything that I could have done on a personal level in my own backyard, is not have lights that point up, right? So if you're like lighting a tree outside in your landscape, or you could turn off a light during migratory times. We're talking more about big city buildings who have their lights on at night. And I know it's like, oh, well, I can't see the beautiful city skyline without the lights being on. Okay, maybe there's a way to just dim the lights. So the kind of, sorry about this. Somebody hacked my phone number and now I'm getting calls from Russia all the time. How annoying. Anyway, so the campaign was just about awareness so that we could generate some interest around being able to turn off a light. So if you had a business small enough and you didn't have security issues and you had control over being able to turn a light off at night for only 2 weeks, let's do it during this migratory time. So whether I had a big impact or a small impact or a medium impact, I still got to be really passionate behind something that I thought was important. And then I got to do some really good ads, right, that are still in my portfolio, which is great. Longevity of doing good ideas. So if you found generating ideas came easily for you, perhaps advertising industry, or if you're more of a designer, doesn't mean the design industry doesn't do communications, visual communications for some of these big charitable organizations. There's always an opportunity to do some of these things that you're interested in within a commercial, agency. So in between selling stuff for big corporations, you can do things for good causes and hopefully have a good impact on the world, right? So it's an ability to do that. But if you found it easy, maybe it's something that's right for you. If you found it really difficult, you found that coming up with ideas was hard, it didn't come easily to you, doesn't mean through practice you wouldn't be able to become better at it, but it's probably a sign that maybe it's not quite right for you. Doesn't mean that it can't be, right? But it could be a sign. So if it was easy for you and you felt like this might be something for you, maybe I might see your name pop up again in my campaign development class, or you may find another channel at a postgrad program at Humber, or even at another school for that matter. Anyway, I hope I was able to persuade a few of you. If not, at least expose you to this part of the business, like you may be a PR expert and can still do the things that you need to do from a public relations standpoint, but not necessarily a creative agency standpoint or a design standpoint. Or perhaps you'll become a fantastic journalist and be able to deliver really important stories that help change the world as well. Right, so like the boreal forest thing that for CBC, really, somebody had to do a whole lot of research and work to make that happen, and then you got a crew and you go out and film all the footage and things that you need to make your story compelling and truthful. You could be the next journalist. Who knows? Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed my class. Everything's come to a conclusion here. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but you'll be moving on to the next module. And hopefully someone there will inspire you, okay? So thank you very much for your time. Again, I'll be looking out for any new any new submissions Sunday at 11 p.m. If nothing's changed, then the marks that I've been working on right now, including reviewing your folder again in the submissions in Gradebook, the marks will stay the way they are. If not, they can only go up from here. Okay, so thank you very much, everybody. That's the end of our class. I wish you good luck in your journey, and we'll hopefully see you one day. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Blaine.
Take care.
You too.